of Management, and many other reputed institutions of India for teaching, training, and mentoring of student startups. Her areas of specializations are entrepreneurship, women empowerment, sales and marketing, small business promotion, retail management, digital marketing, consumer behavior, and startup mentoring. He is a PhD holder in retail management and has PGDBM in, and she's a gold medalist in PGDBM on marketing. Her professional qualifications are her professional proficiencies are including FDP in entrepreneurship, research methodology, and SPSS, CAME, and level 5 certification. As an educator, management professional, entrepreneurship expert, and startup mentor, she has 18 years of experience in academia and industry. Apart from teaching, she is actively involving in training programs and sensitization workshops for aspiring and existing entrepreneurs. We have co-authored a book on emerging trends in entrepreneurship research, review of the Journal of Entrepreneurship, and have published many research papers and articles, journals, and magazines of national and international repute. She have recently completed a DST-sponsored research study on women entrepreneurship in India, key challenges and critical success factors. Currently, she is implementing a Handmade in India project at EDII, supported by HSBC, on handloom cluster development in Surendanagar district, leading to livelihood of generation and overall social development of Patola and Tangalia weavers in that region. Right from the idea generation of workshop to new product development and small business promotion, she is actively involving in student startups and women entrepreneurs and provide them hand-holding support and guidance to create and grow and strengthen their enterprises. She interact and guide young students who are on crossover of their lives and need strong motivation and guidance to be self-employed and independent. We are extremely happy to have Dr. Kavitha Saxena to discuss on entrepreneurship as a career option. When we are approaching readily, she have given very important suggestions and wholehearted support has been offered to us, and we are extremely happy to have you, and we are very fortunate to hear from you, madam. I hereby invite Dr. Kavitha Saxena to take charge of this session. Madam, please.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for a very elaborate introduction. It is indeed a pleasure to be interacting with so many faculty members across different institutions and universities. So just give me 1 second. I will share my presentation and then we will start the discussion.
Yes, madam, please.
Yeah. So I have to click on a window, right? In sharing a window.
Yes, ma'am.
But my presentation is not seen.
Ma'am, now you have to take the PowerPoint.
No, first of all, on the share option, I have to click on a window, right?
Either window or a tab.
Okay.
If it's window, it will be good.
Yeah, so on window, then I click on this and then I share.
Yeah, your screen was only visible to us. Yeah, now
Yes,
it's presenting.
It is visible, madam.
But can you see the PPT?
No.
No, you have
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
and it has to be up to in the video into your
Can you
Screen.
see it now?
No, ma'am. You have to minimize the screen and you have to take the PPT.
Take the PPT.
I have already minimized the
No,
screen.
no.
Yeah, yes, madam. It's coming.
Is it visible now?
The white screen is visible. Now, did you open the PPT, ma'am?
Yeah, can you see it?
Not right. Can you send that to Nitin sir's number so that we can change the
Madam,
PPT?
please send that PPT to my WhatsApp number. I will
Yeah,
send to you.
I will, I can send you on the email.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But why, I mean, generally in Google Meet, that is how we do, right? Why it's not getting, why it is not seen on the screen? Just a minute. I have to click on the window, right?
Ah, yes.
And then it shows my screen.
Yes, your screen, entire screen will be visible.
Yeah, so I click on the screen and then I press share.
Yes.
And then what do I do to show the PPT?
Yes, yes. Yes, madam.
Ma'am, after that,
I
you
can
have to
present
take the
your screen.
PPT.
Now you are presenting your screen. Please go to the
Huh?
PPT, madam.
Yeah, I'm there on the PPT.
Ah, yes.
Ma'am, do one thing, ma'am. You just try this. Please share your entire screen now. Not a tab.
Entire
Please share
screen.
your entire screen.
Yes, yes.
Just a minute. I'm so sorry
Just
for
stop
this.
Yeah, just stop this presenting
Problem.
and share your
Okay,
entire screen.
in entire screen. Okay, now.
You have to click the share.
Hmm.
Yeah. Then after this, you have to just take the PowerPoint. Now you please take
So
the PowerPoint.
now I open the PPT, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. Now,
ma'am. Now it is okay.
Yes, it is visible.
Can you
now
see
you,
it now?
yeah, we
Yes,
can
yes,
see.
it is visible.
Okay, okay,
Perfect.
all
Okay.
right
Thank you,
now.
madam.
Yeah, sorry for this. All right, so
No problem.
yeah, so it is indeed a pleasure to be interacting with so many faculty members. And as I was briefed that, most of the faculty members, in fact, all of you are from the engineering background, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So, during the interaction, please, you can unmute yourself whenever I ask a question and then you can respond to me, right? So I think that way we'll try to make it more interactive. So as
Yeah.
most of you are, from the engineering background, you would agree that, engineering remains one of the most sought after career options in India, isn't
Yes.
it? Right?
Yes, madam. Yes, yes.
But
Yes, ma'am.
now,
Yes, yes.
yeah, but now the sector has been through a phase of being a popular career choice to that of a saturated market. Now the
Yes.
market is gradually getting saturated, and while the number of engineers passing out every year increases, there is lack of skill among the talent pool, and there is an increasing shift towards automation, which is actually disrupting the entire engineering ecosystem in our country, right? So as more and more disruptions are happening in the field of engineering, there is a tremendous scope for exploring entrepreneurship as a career option, right? Because now we are talking about a lot of tech startups in India. So engineers with that technical skill and technical bent of mind, they can contribute immensely if they take up entrepreneurship as a career option, right? Now let me show you certain schemes on your screen. Can you see Make in India, Startup India, Stand Up India on the screen?
Yes, ma'am. We can see.
So what are these schemes about? Can anybody tell me? You can just unmute yourself and reply. What are these schemes
Ma'am,
about?
it provides funds for the startup team
Right. Anything else?
and encouraging Indian industries means manufacturing things in India itself
Right. So
to make
Make
India.
in
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah. So see, Make in India is a very important step taken by our government few years back, where they are encouraging local manufacturers to, come forward and start making products in India, right? And Startup India, Stand Up India also promotes innovative startups, women startups, startups created by people who are at the bottom of the pyramid and all those things, right? So government, so in fact this is the right time because entrepreneurship is flourishing in our country. mainly because of a very, very supportive government which is encouraging entrepreneurship in a very big way, right? So, as most of you are faculty members, when you go back to your institutes or to your universities after attending this program, you should have a fair idea about all these things, so that you can talk to your students and convince them that how government is empowering youth through skill and entrepreneurship, right? Now, you should always ask your students that whether they wish to give wings to your dreams or not, right? Now, can you tell me, based on whatever interaction with you have with your students, what are the dreams of your students at this juncture of their career? Please unmute yourself and tell me.
Ma'am, they are asking for what I call they want to make lot of money, but with a less risk.
Right? So
And
they want,
sometimes they are asking such courses also, sir. What which course I have to go for less time? We have to complete, and we have to get maximum salary or something like that. They are
right.
asking for.
So, yeah, absolutely. So, in the nutshell, we can say that all these young people, right, these youngsters who are just on the cusp of starting their careers, all of them want quick money. Yes or no? Right? And
Yes,
that
ma'am.
can come only when they get a good fancy job in multinational companies, right? But at the same time, what is the biggest challenge for today's youth in India? What is the biggest challenge for our country right now? Can anybody tell me? What is one of the
Co-
biggest challenges?
COVID times, ma'am. COVID times.
Giving food
COVID
and
times.
employment to the people.
So, somebody rightly said that, unemployment is the biggest challenge of our country. Given the size of population and size of youth, you would be surprised to know that according to HRD Ministry, over 1.5 million students pass out of engineering courses every year. And yet, not all of them are guaranteed jobs, right? The employability of Indian engineers continue to be low, with more than 80% engineers unemployable for any job in the knowledge economy. And this was revealed in the National Employability Report, which was published for engineering students 2 years back. So this is such a sorrow state of affair, isn't it? That students want money, they don't have patience, they want quick fix solutions, and at the same time government is struggling to provide them with enough employment opportunities, right? So, it is high time that your students have to choose that where they are and where they want to be, right? Where they are and where they want to be. Many of them will be confused about their career choices, right? They are not sure whether they want to pursue higher studies, do MTech or MBA, become a professor in any engineering college, take up a job or IES or something like that. And at the same time, they are also confused because now government is promoting entrepreneurship. Startup has become a very, very trendy word nowadays. So they are always confused whether they should become an employee or they should become an entrepreneur, isn't it? So now my question to all of you is, because you will be interacting with all your students, how would you help them to decide that, which one is better, whether they take up a job or they try to explore the possibility of starting their own startup, right? So let us try to understand. Can any one of you tell me that according to you, who is an entrepreneur? Anybody, unmute yourself and tell me.
One man who start and runs his own business,
Okay,
and
somebody
sometimes he
who
may be solopreneur. Sometimes he's a
solopreneur.
single individual who controls the entire thing.
Okay, so one is somebody who runs his own business. He's a solo person who manages the entire business. What else? Who is an entrepreneur? Anybody else? Please unmute yourself. You are attending an FDP on
So
entrepreneurship, right?
one
Please.
who do, yeah, ma'am, one who do a business, not only business but a successful business.
Okay, so somebody who is into a successful business is an
Job
entrepreneur.
provider, ma'am.
Any other?
Who provides job.
Okay, somebody who provides a
Ma'am,
job. So he's a job creator,
Yes,
isn't it?
yes,
So
yes.
when you talk about an entrepreneur in as a layman, if your student asks you, right, you have to explain them. An entrepreneur is an individual who creates new business, and most importantly, they take most of the risks and enjoy the rewards. Entrepreneurship is a journey full of risk, right? Why it is a risky journey? Can anybody tell me why there is risk in entrepreneurship?
Because chance of failure, high risk of failure.
Yes, because there are high risk of
Uncertainty is there.
there is
Uncertainty is there, ma'am.
uncertainty, right? You are not sure whether your product will become successful or not. You are not sure if the product is successful today. How will competitors drive the market tomorrow? Whether consumers will like it or not, whether there will be enough demand or not. So there are a lot of factors which makes entrepreneurship journey risky and uncertain. But at the same time, if you succeed, all the rewards will come to you and you will be the whole and soul person enjoying all the rewards, right? Enjoying all the rewards. And an entrepreneur also uses his skills, knowledge, and experience to anticipate customer needs, and he brings in new ideas to the market, right? For example, in pandemic, so many new things have taken place in the market. Do you all agree?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes.
Right? For example, the entire process of getting the RT-PCR test done itself was so painful and not very comfortable, right? But now there are few companies or startups who have come out with a kit where a customer can do the RT-PCR test at his home itself, isn't it? So you understand the customer's problems and try to come out with the new ideas. That is what an entrepreneur is all about, right? Now, can anybody tell me what an entrepreneur creates? One of you already said that he creates job for others.
He creates
Apart,
solutions, ma'am. He creates solutions.
absolutely, an entrepreneur creates solutions to the problems of the people, of the society. Very good. What else? What else?
It helps the economy to grow, to
Yes,
improve the GDP.
absolutely right. So an entrepreneur creates innovation, new industries. It gives an impetus to the demand. So the flow of money increases in the economy, and that is how the GDP also improves, right? And most importantly, he also results into community well-being. There are so many social entrepreneurs working in the country, right? So they focus not just on profit, but their focus is also on the well-being of the society at large. Do you all agree with this?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes.
Yes. So now the next point to understand is that, why would somebody take up entrepreneurship? What is the difference between an employee and an entrepreneur? Can you just tell me some pointers quickly? Difference between an
Em-
employee.
Employee is a person who works under someone, but the
Okay.
entrepreneur is creates a new job or new enterprise, and he runs the company.
Okay. So an employee is job receiver, right? And an entrepreneur is job creator. Okay, very
Giver,
good. And
giver, job.
uh, job creator, job giver. Yeah. Any other point? Can somebody else
Entrepreneur
Employee
is
also
a
try?
employee is a risk free. Employee having risk free. He will get the salary every month. But entrepreneur, in the case of entrepreneur, the some risk elements are there.
So entrepreneurship is a risky journey, right? But in case of job, you have fixed KRAs, you know your roles and responsibilities. If you perform them well, you get the salary, you get the promotion and everything. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else? Anything else?
Complete freedom.
Yes. Entrepreneurship gives you a lot of freedom. So on one side, as an entrepreneur, you are never free for a second because 24 by 7 you are on duty. Suppose you come back home and you get a call that there is an emergency in the factory, you have to rush immediately. But an employee is generally bound by the fixed job hours most of the time, isn't it? So there is more freedom when you talk about entrepreneurship. And in case of job, it is like a routine, right? You have a fixed routine which you have to follow, isn't it? So, what does this slide indicate, by the way? Anybody?
Entrepreneur can make maximum amount. There is no limit about the means salary and all. He can make lot of money, but
Okay,
employee having some limit, some fixed
right.
salary and all.
So as an employee, you have a fixed salary, you may get an annual bonus or some quarterly incentives, right? That's it, no matter how hard you work. But as an entrepreneur, the more harder you work, the more higher profits you will earn, right? So that also, a monetary wise also, entrepreneurship, if become successful, is very, very rewarding in monetary terms. So you have to clearly explain the difference to your students, right? So that they understand that why are people talking so much about startups and entrepreneurship. It is risky, it is uncertain, but if you succeed, there are rewards, right? There are profits, there is more money, there is more respect, and you contribute to the community well-being. So it gives you more higher level of satisfaction, isn't it? So you have to push your boundaries little more, and you have to try to be different if you want to walk on the path of entrepreneurship. So both of them will work, both of them will put in serious efforts, they support, they earn income, but the perspectives are different. But the perspectives are different, right? An employee will always have a short term focus because he looks for immediate increment or immediate promotion. But an entrepreneur would think of future opportunities, he would think of growth, expansion, and future possibilities, right? So that clearly makes a difference between an employee and an entrepreneur. Now, can I ask you a question that, what it takes to become an entrepreneur? What it takes to become an entrepreneur? Some qualities, skills. What do you need? What is the first thing that you need to become an entrepreneur?
Risk
To
taking
serve the
capacity.
society.
Okay, one is risk taking capacity, right? You need to have a risk appetite, because only then you will be able to, leave your job or refuse your campus placement and start pursuing a business opportunity.
To serve the
Absolutely.
society,
What
self
else is
motivation,
needed?
Passion.
Passion, right?
passion. To
Passion.
serve the society, to serve the society.
Yes, a zeal to serve the society. You need a passion, right? Because even if you fail, you should not give up, right? So that persistence, determination, a passion, a confidence in your idea that it will succeed, right? All these things will be required to become an entrepreneur. So qualities like passion, tenacity, vision, self-confidence. People may laugh at your idea, right? But if you are confident, you have to carry it with all your passion and conviction, right? You need to have a great idea for which there will be a demand and people will be ready to pay money. You have to plan for success. Even if you fail, you should be ready with an alternate plan, and you should be consistent in execution of your plan, right? So these are some of the basic qualities that your students should possess. If not, you have to imbibe these qualities in your students so that they become prepared to take up their entrepreneurial journey, right? Now let me show you some examples on the screen. Do you know all of them? Do you know them?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes.
Right? Ola, Uber, Paytm, Grofers, Zomato, Paperboat, right? What is common among all of them? What do they all have in common?
They are sharing platforms, ma'am. They are sharing platforms.
Okay. Anything else?
They don't
USP.
own anything.
Sorry?
They don't own anything. Uber, they
Okay.
are hiring taxis and like
Right.
that.
So they have
Or nothing.
they are unique, innovative business models where they have not invested into any assets. Right? Anything else? What do they have in common?
They are having digital strategy, ma'am. They are having digital strategy. Mostly they are working on digital strategy or digital platform.
Okay, most of them are working on digital platforms because that is where the today's young modern consumer can connect with them, isn't it? So they all are startups who started at a very small level, but in few years, most of them have become unicorns. Unicorn means more than 1 billion US dollar size. Is that clear? So most of them, they started when they did not have their own office also. They started using a laptop and a computer and an internet connection. But now look at them. They have grown into multiple folds, isn't it? So the point is, when you talk about a startup, do you know what is the definition of a startup? Anybody? How would you describe a startup?
A company having less than 100 crore rupees can be named as startup.
Anything else?
Using high growing technologies.
Using technology, okay.
High
Anything
growing,
else?
growing technologies.
High growing technology. Anything else? See, as a layman, when you describe startup, it is nothing but an entrepreneurial venture on a new business, right? Which is designed to search for a repeatable and scalable business model. Is that clear? So, you are talking about a business model which is innovative. It has a chance of becoming scalable. Now, what do you mean by scalable? Anybody, what is scalable?
Can be grow more.
Yes. So see, if you might have seen that, outside your college or university, you will always see that, there are some tea stalls, some food vendors standing there and selling their products. So are they considered as a startup? Are they entrepreneurs?
Yes,
No.
yes, ma'am. They are
They are
entrepreneurs.
not.
They
They are just doing a business. When it is an entrepreneurial venture, it will grow, it will scale up. So if you see that, suppose somebody was having a small roadside stall outside your campus, and 5 years down the line, you see that they have set up multiple small restaurants in different colleges of the city, then it is a scalable business model. Are you getting my point?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So anybody who is doing a business is just a business. If it does not have a potential to scale up or grow, it will not be considered as an entrepreneurial venture or a startup. And to avoid this confusion, government has given a clear-cut definition of a startup. According to Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, they have classified startup as an entity which is registered or incorporated in India. That is the first condition. It should not be more than 10 years old. Right? And its annual turnover, as one of our friends was telling, annual turnover should not exceed 100 crore in any of the 10 years. And most importantly, it should be working towards innovation, development, or improvement of product, process, or services with a scalable business model which has a huge potential of employment generation and wealth creation. I want all of you to understand this definition very clearly. So if your student asks about any business idea, it may not qualify into a startup if it is not working towards innovation, technology, improvement, and if it does not have a potential of employment generation and wealth creation. Is that clear to all of you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Any question here, anybody?
Ma'am, one question. Most of my students are doing they are investing most of their time in what I call painting and all artistic things and all, and they are selling their products in using Instagram and all. Then is it a type of entrepreneurship now?
See, if you talk about entrepreneurship, one thing is that if you have to avail the benefit of startups, it has to involve innovation. Let me give you one example. Do you all know Big Basket and Grofers?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
What is their product?
Grocery items, no? Grocery.
So is grocery anything new?
No, no.
No, right? But what they did, they innovated the process of purchasing and buying grocery. They
Yes, yes.
converted the process of physically going to the market and buying fruits and vegetables is converted into a simple process of using a smartphone to open the app and place an order. So there was an innovation in process. The product was not new, but there was innovation in process, right? So then when you use technology, right, when technology is used and when there is a potential, see all this, Ola, Uber, Big Basket, Grofers, they have created so much of employment in the economy. So many people who had no car, they can take a car on rent, or they can ride it under the name of Ola and Uber and earn money. Similarly, Flipkart, Amazon, Big Basket, all of them, they are using large fleet of delivery boys. So many people who were, less educated, without any job, they got an employment using all these services. Am I correct or not?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes.
Right. So try to evaluate your idea or your business on all these parameters which you are seeing on the screen, because these parameters are stated by Government of India, Ministry of Commerce and Industry. So if your student is a painter, but if he's using some technology, some innovative ways, if he's using virtual reality, augmented reality, or something like that, then it may qualify to become a startup. Is that clear?
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Right. So you have to be very, very careful. So see to it that you reiterate these 4 points of startup definition to your students very, very well. Now let us proceed further. Now, this is the startup landscape, startup ecosystem of India. India is the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. And as of now, we have 28,000 plus startups recognized under the Startup India policy. There are 32 unicorns who have valuation of more than 1 billion US dollar. And you look at the average age of startups. Most of these startups, the current average age is less than 31 years. And on an average, 12 jobs are created per startup, totaling to 350,000 plus jobs created in the Indian economy using these startups, right? So job creation, employment generation becomes a very, very important criteria, right? There is boom in women entrepreneurship. Out of the total startups, more than 43% of the startups in India, women are one of the founders, right? So that is your Stand Up India. Government is encouraging these startups which are created by women or people, who belong to the marginalized community or something like that. So these things are very, very important. Now, look at the top 5 fastest growing startup industries in India: healthcare, transportation, financial services, artificial intelligence, and e-commerce. So when you talk about, engineering students, they can very well fit into this scheme of work, because now we are talking about fintech, right? Now we are talking about e-commerce, artificial intelligence, we are talking about health tech. So all these technology related businesses can do well if engineering students come forward and start sharpening their skills to take up entrepreneurship in these areas. Is that clear, everybody?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes.
Now look at the performance state wise, right? So here is on your screen, you can see that Gujarat is the best performing state as far as startup ranking is concerned, followed by Karnataka and Kerala. Even Kerala and Karnataka are top performers, because all of you are from different states. From this screen, you can find out in which category. Is your state into aspiring leaders category, or is it an emerging startup ecosystem? Because now each and every state and union territory of India is focusing and giving a lot of attention to student startups, right? Lot of Karnataka became the first state to come out with a policy for research and development, which can really contribute in supporting the startup ecosystem in our country. So if your state has a startup policy in place, see, read it and understand how that startup policy can benefit your students. Because there is something known as SSIP, Student Startup and Innovation Policy. Under that scheme, student startups can avail a lot of financial benefits, grants, and support. So if you know all these things, you will be able to guide your students on all these aspects accordingly, right? And on the top of it, being in India has its own share of advantage. Look at this. There is a robust demand for a lot of engineering sectors, like, when you talk about power, mining, refinery, steel, automotive, consumer durables, they drive demand in the engineering sector. There are attractive opportunities because government is providing a lot of policy support, lot of financial assistance. There is something known as ease of doing business. So earlier the rank of India was above 100, but now every year India's rank is improving from 72 to 63 to 57. Currently we are on 57th rank as far as the ease of doing business in India is concerned. All this is because the government is becoming very, very supportive, right? There are investments by the government in a lot of technology based areas. As I was just mentioning, see, in the policy support, there is de-licensing in the engineering sector. 100% foreign direct investments are encouraged, right? Government is coming out with policies where a lot of financial assistance is provided to the startups in the area of technology. So you have to tell your students that right now is the best time to start your own venture, right? It is not how, when, or when, where. It is now. Now this is the right time to start your entrepreneurial journey. Right now, when you talk about a business idea, because you need a business idea to start your journey, right? What are the key aspects of a startup? Can anybody tell me what are the things that you need to have to start your own venture? Can anybody tell me?
A product,
Prototype.
demand the product.
Prepare,
Okay.
design a prototype, ma'am. Then marketing research should be there.
Okay.
Business plan should be there.
Okay. So when you talk about a
Then
startup,
finance, funding.
finance,
Finance.
funding, the first thing that you need is a viable business idea which can be commercialized in the long run. There are so many inventions happening in the laboratories of research institutions, but most of them confined to the four walls of the laboratory, and they never see the light of the day because nobody makes an effort to commercialize them, or they don't have the potential to become commercialized. So when you talk about startup, focus on three important things. One is you yourself. What are your strengths? What are your skill sets? What are your capabilities? How you can leverage them? Identify the pain points or the problems of the customers. Understand the customer and try to identify how your idea can solve customers' pain point. Is that clear? Right? Finance can be arranged very easily because now most of the universities, they conduct hackathons. They conduct a lot of startup grant challenges and contests. So if you have a great idea which offers a unique solution to the customer's problem, there are chances that you may get the financial assistance very, very easily. Right? So your own self, your customer that you are targeting, and the problem that you are solving for that customer. These are the three important things to begin with. Now, let me show you a short story on your screen. Read this. Sorry. A disappointed Coca Cola salesman returns from his Middle East assignment. So, his friend asked, "Why weren't you successful with the Arabs?" So, this man said that when I got posted to the Middle East, I was very confident that because Coca-Cola is not present there, the entire country will be my opportunity. But then he said, I did not know how to speak Arabic. So he was very creative. What he did is he created 3 posters. Because when you don't know the language, you can communicate using pictures also, right? So this is how the 3 posters looked. Because it was Middle East, too much of hot climate. So he showed a man lying on the hot desert sand, exhausted. The moment he drinks Coca-Cola, he becomes energetic. So is it a good way to communicate?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Right? So then
No,
his
ma'am.
friend asked that why it did not work. So he said that I did not realize that Arabs read from right to left. So what happens when you read right from right to left? An energetic person after drinking Coca-Cola gets exhausted. Is it correct?
Yes, 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 ma'am.
So what is the lesson out of this? What is the learning?
We have to plan differently for different regions.
Okay. What else?
Understand the customer.
You have to understand your customers very, very well, because customer is at the center point of all your business activities. Understand the customer, right? Know what are his language preferences, know what are his demographics, his age, income, gender, occupation, family life cycle, all this information, cultural background, societal preferences, all these things have to be understood and they have to be taken into consideration before you start interacting with your customers, right? And that is why it is very important to understand that the starting point is KYC. And what is KYC?
Know your customer.
KYC is know your customer. Know your customer well. See, before you come out with a product, try to validate your idea with your potential customers. Try to see whether the customers would really want your solution or you are very much obsessed with your solution. Many a times a startup falls so much in love with his idea that he or she is not ready or open for any criticism. Don't fall into that sweet trap. Be very, very open to feedback, criticism, and try to validate your idea by interacting with your potential customers, right? While many emerging startups are coming up in the area of electronics and information sciences, the field of mechanical engineering has huge potential which is yet to be explored. So when you go back to your institutions, you have to understand one thing, that today's mechanical engineering students, they need to be well positioned to recognize and seize the potential startup opportunities that are coming up in this domain. Now let us look at few innovative engineering startups in our country. So none of these startups are more than 5-6 years old, but all of them have earned a lot of rewards and recognition because they have focused a lot on the innovative solution. For example, if I talk about this Newton School, have you heard the name?
No, ma'am.
No. It is one of the emerging innovative engineering startups of India. The two founders, Nishant Chandra and Siddharth Malhotra, right? Newton School is actually, it is an edutech platform. They provide online training which allows software developer aspirants, regardless of their educational background, in fulfilling their dreams of getting placed in tier 1 companies. So you don't have to have a qualification related to IT. Even if you don't have, they train you. So they are building the skill sets of people, right? And the beauty of their business model is that they charge zero fees for their program. And the students have to pay only when they get a job offer or more than 6 lakhs per annum in a tier 1 companies. They are rewarded as the best online skill provider for the year 2020, and they're one of the fastest growing education technology platforms. They are transforming India into a global developer powerhouse through a highly personalized training program. Right? So, as I told you in the beginning, that more than 80% of the engineering graduates, they lack the necessary skills. They are not employable. They lack those skills, and there is a clear-cut gap between what the companies want and what education these engineering students are receiving. Do you agree with this?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Most of you are engineering faculty, right? So you would understand this, that this is really a very, very dark gray area where a lot of revamping has to be done so that we make our course, education, teaching pedagogy more in line with the demands of the industry. So that is what this startup Newton School is doing. There is another startup by the name of Skill Link. It is Chennai based startup. It is also focusing on getting people jobs. But what they do is they offer, remember one of you was telling in the beginning that student asked, "Hey, can we take up some short term courses and then get placed in a good company?" So this startup Skill Link, they offer courses for engineering students and help them gain skills needed to get mechanical engineering jobs. So Skilling focuses exclusively for mechanical engineering students. They create skill-based short duration courses which may last from 1 month to 3 months or 6 months, and then they directly place the students in a company, and they say that we will offer you a full refund if after completion of the course you don't get a desired job. Even colleges and universities will not refund the fees if student remains unemployed. Is it correct or not?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
But these startups are working at a different level. Why? Because they have understood what is the problem of the students. They lack basic skills. They have understood what are the skill sets required by the companies, right? So they are just bridging the gap by giving such type of trainings to the students. There is another engineering company by the name of Custom Mind. This is Surat, Gujarat based company. What they are doing is they are assisting original equipment manufacturers in developing, upgrading existing products by providing latest technology solution through its deep knowledge in engineering, mechanization, and manufacturing. So there are few startups who are exclusively working in the area of innovations in design engineering. So this company provides industrial styling, engineering layout, conceptual designing, hydraulic and powertrain design and installation, and a lot of other. They also provide manufacturing drawings to prototype validation and technical literature making. So they also support student startups. Suppose you have to make some designs of the prototypes, or if you want some technical literature, you don't know the language in which it should be prepared, they help you with all those inputs. So that is what I'm trying to say, that your business idea should be in line with what the market needs, right? Your business idea should be in line with what the market needs. And if you are able to understand the gap of the market, if you are able to connect with the customer in terms of offering a relevant solution, you will become successful, right? But that doesn't mean that startup is a bed of roses. It has its own share of challenges. Now let us look at a post-mortem of 101 failed startups. Why startups fail? Just read it on your screen. 42% come out with the products that have no market need. What does it indicate? What does it indicate? No market need.
Market research was missing.
Okay. What else? No market need matlab kya? What does it mean?
No
Custom-
demand.
There is an excess supply of product in the markets in the same segment.
Okay, so there is more supply and less demand. Overfull, right?
No
Overfull
demand. No
supply.
demand. Yes.
So no market need means you are coming out with a business idea for which there is no market. You know which was the first online shopping portal of India? Anybody? It was rediffshopping.com. Rediff started online shopping portal in the 90s when people were not even using internet properly. So it was so much ahead of its time that the idea failed. And the company has to withdraw that business from the market. So if you are ahead of the times, you will fail. If you are if you are slow as compared to the time, then also you will fail. So you have to walk at the pace of the market. You have to understand what is the need of the market, right? Then see on the other side, unfriendly product without a business model, poor marketing, you ignore your customers, your product is mistimed. All these are the reasons, top 10 reasons why startups fail. So you have to sensitize your students that before you start creating a prototype, spend a lot of time doing market research. Market research is very, very important. Market will give you a lot of innovative solutions if you observe and study the market properly, right? You have to understand the customer pain points. Nowadays, everything is governed by data, right? You are talking about data driven analysis. For example, all of us are using Google, Facebook, Instagram. So these platforms provide important insights to the businesses. Facebook doesn't charge a single penny from us, right? But it charges a bomb from the companies who want to promote their products for all of us on Facebook. So Facebook earns money from the advertisements that companies do on Facebook platform. Now you have to look at a problem from VC's perspective, right? Why would somebody invest money in your business? Suppose your startup goes for a pitch deck presentation to a team of investors. Why would somebody invest in your business? Right? So you have to understand your business idea from a VC's perspective. There will be some controllable factors and uncontrollable factors affecting your business. So how well you understand those factors, right? That is also equally important, right? Are you all with me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, right. So the point is you have to align your product with the customer requirements. Now see, nowadays people are talking about healthcare on wheels. Earlier there were food trucks, right? So people were talking about food on the wheels. Now the time has come where people are talking about healthcare on wheels, right? So you will very soon come across startups which are delivering their services, healthcare facilities, medicines to people through the mobile travel vans or trucks. Time is not far. You have to think of innovative ways of reaching out to your customers. For example, do you see the ad of NetMad on TV? NetMad, do you see the ad? It is an online pharmacy company.
Online pharmacy.
Yeah. So what they do is, because see, they said that what is the new thing that we can do? So what they did is they said that most of the online portals cater to the urban and semi-urban areas. They neglect the rural areas. So what NADMED did is NADMED connected with the postal department, because postal department has highest distribution network. Do you agree? Indian Postal Department, what is their geographical reach? Hello?
No idea, ma'am.
Through all India.
Every corner
All
of the
over
country.
India, where your courier service cannot go, postal department will go, because they will have their post office. They will have a postman even in the remotest area of India. So NetMed is taking advantage of last mile connectivity using postal services, right? So the product is not new. They are delivering you the medicines only, but the process is new. It is available online, and they are using postal department services to deliver. So you will be able to reach out to large pin codes. Are you getting my point?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So you have to align your product with the requirements of your customers. Then there is something known as product market fit. Is your product built in such a way that it can solve the customer's problem? And how will you be able to scale up your business model so that it becomes profitable in the long run? See, if you are aware about Maharashtra, in Maharashtra and that side of a belt, there is huge production of sugarcane. And sugarcane is used for making jaggery. But there are some remote village, rural areas, and see, sugarcane is little bulky, right? So it is expensive to transport it from the farm area to the factory location, isn't it? So there are some rural areas which results into wastage of sugarcane cultivated because they are not able to do anything out of it. They are neither able to sell it nor they are able to transport it. So one startup observed this phenomena. So what they have done is they have established mobile jaggery making machines. So they carry a truck type of an open truck type of a system. It has a machine. So you just go in a village. So all the farmers of that village, they will bring their sugar cane at that place. And this startup, they use a truck where a machine is installed, which will immediately crush the sugar cane, make a pulp, convert it into a liquid jaggery and give it to the farmers. And then now these farmers can convert this little jaggery with proper exposure to sunlight, moisture and other things, and they convert it into a proper jaggery slabs which are commercial in nature. So that is the beauty of innovation. You have to come out with a product which will really fit into the requirements of the market. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am,
So
yes, ma'am.
that is what is product market fit. How well the product fits into the requirement of the market so that it becomes scalable, it becomes profitable, and is able to address a core problem of the customers. Now moving ahead, you have to start with the market research, as I was just telling you, right? That observe, talk to people, create a questionnaire, conduct focus group discussions, use qualitative and quantitative techniques, and then analyze this data to get customer insights on the idea on which you are working, right? And when you work on the market research, you will be able to demonstrate the market opportunity, because you will study the secondary data.
ലൈക്ക് എന്ന് പറയണത് അലക്സ് മാത്രം പോരാ.
Sorry. So you demonstrate the market opportunity because market research will also focus on secondary research. So you study the literature. You have to encourage your students to do a lot of research, to do a lot of secondary information study. They can read industry reports, right? They can study published records by companies, by agencies who are into market research. So they will give you information about the trends in an industry, which industry is growing, which industry is at saturation, which are the emerging trends in the industry. All this information will be very, very helpful in understanding the customer insights, right? And focus on creating a MVP. MVP is a minimum viable product. You don't have to build a super duper product in the beginning. Start with a vanilla ice cream, and then as per the demand, add flavors, add sauces. You will add chocolate sauce, strawberry sauce, some nuts and caramel, some fresh fruits, depending upon the demand of the customer. So MVP is nothing but the minimum, the bare minimum version of your product which executes all the functionalities that your product can offer. So that becomes your prototype or a sample which you can demonstrate to few important people and take their feedback, right? So if you have a laboratory in your campus, or if you have an incubation center, or if you have an e-cell which supports students in trying to come out with some such type of products, they can really contribute in a big way by coming out with minimum viable products. That is very, very important. Building an MVP means you are creating the most basic version of your startup idea as quickly as possible. You can test your assumptions and optimize your idea for product market fit based on the feedback that you get from your potential customers, right? So you can, for example, if you're making an app, you have to create an alpha version, check that it is compatible with Android and iPhone, different types of operating systems, and get the feedback in terms of features, ease of navigation, and a lot of other things that a customer would expect in an app, right? And after that, build upon it, add more value added unique features, and then commercialize it to the market at a full-fledged level. Is MVP clear to all of you?
Ma'am, yes, yes.
right? So that is how you build it up. Break it down, break your idea and try to see whether it is a must have or nice to have. Must have means features which are very, very mandatory. Nice to have means they are optional. I mean, if they are good, it's okay. If they are not there, then also it's okay. Right? So try to identify these features into your product, right? And lastly, try to validate your startup idea based on three important parameters: oxygen, aspirin, and jewelry. If your idea is such that customers cannot live without it, it becomes an oxygen idea. For example, internet, WhatsApp, Wi-Fi, Facebook, Instagram, all these things have become oxygen now because you cannot live without them. Is it correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Similarly, when you talk about aspirin ideas, these are those ideas which can ease your pain, but they are not important for survival. For example, Netflix. Is it essential for your survival?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
No.
But it will, because in pandemic you don't go out for any sort of entertainment, you get bored, so it will break your monotony sitting at home. It will entertain you on weekends, and that too at very, very nominal subscription rates, right? So these ideas are known as aspirin ideas. They will ease your pain, but they are not important for survival. And last is jewelry ideas, products and services which are sheer luxury. You have them because you have enough money and wealth. You want to display your wealth, right? You want to display your status symbol, right? For example, buying an iPhone which costs you more than 75,000 rupees. Very, very expensive, but it is a sheer luxury. Somebody who is driving a Rolls Royce, right? A sheer luxury. So all these products will fall under the category of jewelry. And you have to validate your startup idea. You have to see whether it is falling under the domain of oxygen, aspirin, or jewelry. Is that clear, everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So when you interact with your students, please sensitize them about all these aspects of entrepreneurship that we have discussed in the session today. And most importantly, you have to prepare your students for failure. See, in India, if a business fails, failure is considered to be a taboo. If you fail in exam, if you fail in competitive exam, if you fail in a job interview, people look down upon you in a very, very bad way, because failures are never celebrated in our country. But if you go to the Western world, people celebrate failures because they say that failures are good learning lessons for all of us, right? So prepare your students to face the failure in a very, very strong manner. Every stone should be treated as an opportunity and be converted into milestone if the students have passion and perseverance to pursue their idea, right? And most importantly, tell your student that if plan A fails, the alphabet still has 24 more letters. So they can go for up to 25 plans they can make, is what I mean, right? So you need to have multiple plans in place so that if one fails, you have the other one to pick up and move forward on your entrepreneurial journey. Is that clear? Right? So I think with that,
Yes,
it is
ma'am.
almost 4:30. So I will end my discussion here. But if you have any query, if you want to ask anything, if you want to comment on the class, any feedback, anything else, please feel free to do that. We can interact for another 2-3 minutes. Did you find the session useful?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
At
Excellent
least,
session. Excellent
okay.
session.
Any question that you have, you want to ask anything? Because see, all of you are going to be the torch bearers, right? When an institute is undertaking such type of faculty development program in the area of entrepreneurship, first is we are trying to sensitize you, all faculty members, towards entrepreneurship. And once you are sensitized, once you understand that how important entrepreneurship is for a candidate or to build up a nation, you will be able to transform all these inputs to your students in a very, very effective manner, right? And that was the reason that we have taken up this topic of entrepreneurship as a career option, because a country like India, which is still obsessed with government jobs and corporate culture, entrepreneurship is still not considered to be a very, very welcoming career opportunity. So please go back to your institutions, talk to your students, sensitize them towards entrepreneurship. And, at the same time, you have to tell them a word of caution also that, it has its own share of risk. But if a student is well prepared, if he or she does its homework well, there are government schemes which are there to support the students, right? So finance should never be an obstacle if somebody has a great business idea which has the chances to become commercialized in the long run, right? So that was my only objective, to take up this topic on entrepreneurship as a career option. Any feedback, any suggestion, anything that you want to ask or contribute, I will be happy to have that from all of you. Anything from the participants? Some people have written in the chat, Shyam Prasad ji, very fruitful session, insightful session. Thank you so much, all of you. It was just 1 hour's time, so it was not possible, but I've tried to cover different aspects, right from some government schemes to few examples to some important aspects of startups, everything, so that you get an orientation about entrepreneurship. That was the objective of this entire session. So if there is nothing more to ask, can I request the participants to come online? I'll just take one picture before we close. Can I request all of you to come online for a second?
Okay, ma'am.
Please come online for a second. It was really wonderful interacting with all of you. Many of you participated, and you made the session all the more interesting. So I'm very, very grateful to each one of you for making it a very, very healthy and interactive session. And I wish you all the very best. I'm just typing my email ID in the chat box. It is iamkavitha@gmail.com. So if you need any support in the domain of entrepreneurship, student startups, or anything related to that, please feel free to write to me. I'll be more than happy to support you in whichever capacity I can. Right? Thank you so much, and I wish you all the very best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. So can we log off, all of us now? Can we log off?
Ma'am, just a second. It
Yes,
seems
sir, please.
everyone wants to express their appreciation and our sincere gratitude to you. You have presented a very fruitful session, as the contestant said. So on behalf of entire fraternity of our college and this FDP, I extend a very thank you to you. So looking forward to you for the future endeavors. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you, and I wish you all the very best. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.